Hello there and welcome back to the channel. This is Mel's Gaming here with another The Hunter Classic video. Now in today's video I will be going after some polar bears here on White Rhine Ridge, as it is a species I have really not hunted in this game hardly at all. I think I've only taken down like 2 bears that were opportunistic kills while looking for snowshoe hares. So yeah, I'm really keen to actually get out after these guys after seeing them on the EW stream in a bit more detail when they actually introduced the changes to the scoring system for animals like that are measured with the skulls like bears and giving them that 4-point decimal place. So please enjoy, and yeah, let's see what bears we can actually get. So the first bear that I actually spotted was this one here that was out on the ice. As you can see, that is a female, but you can see I don't have the weight or score estimates for anything. Now, I knew that females obviously aren't the trophy ones for polar bears, it's the males you need to look for, but at this point I was just happy to take out any polar bears that I could actually see, seeing as I have hardly taken down any, like I said, and I just wanted to try and increase the numbers of ones I've actually taken down, because not only does it gives me some good hunter score, it's just nice to hunt something else different in the game. Now, I was a bit off on that shot. I still don't know how it registered that I hit where I hit when you're actually going to see it on the harvest screen, because to me that looked about right, because it's a bit weird with the bear hitboxes in this game. I know from hunting black bear that you actually have to aim a little bit further forward than I probably would in Call of the Wild, because their organs seem to be a bit squished up, like so the heart and lungs is a bit closer to the front of the animal. But that's about where I thought a shot should be, and I completely couldn't understand why it showed where I hit on the harvest screen, which you'll see when I pick the animal up. But she didn't seem to be going down from that, so I decided that I would reload and put a second shot into it. And I was actually impressed that they were actually quite this tough, because I've made shots like that on black bear and the brown bears, and they've gone down a lot quicker than that. And I really love White Rhine's environment, and actually seeing the bears out on the ice, I just think it's really cool. And I think that's something that actually drew me to actually wanting to come and look for these guys today. And I'm sorry that it's a bit of a longer episode, but I figured since it's been nearly a week since I put out the last classic video, that I would make this one a little bit longer. I have been grinding exceptionally hard on Call of the Wild for a second great one, and actually after recording this, I'm going to be going straight back to that. I'm about between 18 and 1900 kills in the last 9 or 10 days, so going quite hard on that, but it was nice to take a break on Classic and actually come out and try and find some cool things to hunt. I did try and do just a normal White Rhine run, but I just got really bad spawns, like almost all females. I saw like one small bull moose, nothing really impressive. But yeah, it's just cool, like, trying to navigate out here on the ice as well, on these ice floats. I think it's just really interesting to have this completely different environment. And personally, this is something I'd love to see in Call of the Wild, as much as I doubt it will ever happen because of how controversial this could be, and I'll talk about that more in a minute. But there you can see that that first hit registered as skull somehow, and I really don't know how, and the second shot was apparently intestines. But that got the first mission completed for the polar bears, and I wanted to try out the trophy shots. I know these aren't trophy animals I actually end up trophy shotting in this, but I wanted something decent for a thumbnail, and I thought it's just a memento from the first hunt. Now, something else I find really cool is the calls that they give out. That really deep growl, I find out really, really cool. And I did want to try and take one that was more on land with a bow. So when I got the call from that one and I tried to find it, I thought I'd try and take it with a bow. But you'll see how that went. But as I was just saying before, I would love to see animals like this in Call of the Wild, but they have pretty much expressed that they don't want to add anything kind of controversial. Lions were pushing it a bit on Rohonga, but I think that polar bears would go a bit too far. Personally, to me, I don't see a problem with it. Like, it's pixels. I mean, I play Red Dead and I shoot pixel people. I don't see the problem with shooting a pixel animal, but that's just my opinion. I can understand that some people don't like it, even though it is just a game, but to me, it is a game. It's pixelated animals, and I don't mind going after some polar bears and just experiencing something a bit different to what I would experience in Call of the Wild. So you can see there I was actually actually mauled by that one, and then I was going to track that one, and then I got a call from another one. And whilst I started tracking it, actually did find the second bear, and I actually ended up shooting that one first before tracking the one that mauled me. But it was just cool, actually, how many I found. Just walking along the ice floats, they weren't exactly hard to find. I found like mostly females, I'd say 95% females, and like 3 or 4 males in the couple of runs I did up along the ice. But they're just a cool animal to take down. I wasn't really worried about looking for money, so even like seeing the females to me was pretty cool because, like I said, if I haven't hunted them a lot, seeing any animals good for me. But there you can see that's not far off to the shot that I actually took on that other one, and that did drop it. So I have no idea what happened with that first bear. I guess it was just a weird hit registration issue. But yeah, so these were the tracks of the initial one that mauled me that I was following, and then this second female that I dropped. But it was really really fun actually taking them out with the 9.3, and the 9.3 is my most used gun in this game. I started off with the 9.3 and then the Parker Python bow, but you can see I'm using a different bow here as well as the 9.3, so it's just getting a bit of more hunter score and everything, which is really really nice. But you can see there, double lung shot. But you see what I mean about the organs being a bit further forward than they are in Call of the Wild? It's slightly odd. I remember that when I first started hunting the bears in this game, I was told be aware that the organs are a little bit weird with actually how they're placed, and that has rung true. But I still think it's actually, once you know what you're doing, it's still easy enough to actually drop them. But here you go, is another bear out on the ice, and this is one that I had spooked, and you can see that that one is actually a male. So that was really cool to actually see a male, and the bottom of the leaderboard was something like 29.7 and up. So I'd be really interested to actually try going after these guys several times and try and get maybe a 29 plus or a 30 plus, because I've seen, the scores now, and I've been told and heard that getting a big polar bear isn't actually that hard. Apparently, a lot of people don't seem to go after them, which, like I said, it's personal choice. I can completely understand why this might be a more emotive animal for some people. A bit like lions in Call of the Wild, I've heard a few people that just won't go after lions by pure preference. And like I said, if that's how you feel about it, that's absolutely fine. To me, it's just a bunch of pixels in a game, and I know it's not actually doing anything, so it doesn't bother me at all to go and hunt these. So yeah, it was really really nice to see this male and actually try and take him down. I was starting to be like a bit slower because I initially was just running along the ice trying to get calls. Um, but I noticed that I did spook this guy, and so this did make me slow down a little bit. But I just wanted to make sure I got a decent enough hit on him, because I didn't want him to shoot him and then him run into the water and be somewhere that I couldn't claim him, with this being the first male that I had seen. And I know that that can happen, that if they run into this icy water, that you can actually sometimes not claim them, or if they get to a piece of ice that you can't walk out onto, that you can't claim them sometimes. And I was really, really careful of that the whole time I was hunting. So if I'm being a bit slow with taking some of these shots, and you think, oh, you could have taken that there, I am just getting used to hunting a completely different species and being a bit more mindful, perhaps, than some people would be about losing stuff to the water. So please bear with that whilst I am hunting these guys. But anyway, I will stop rambling now and let you see me take this guy down. So as you can see, he finally gave me the shot that I was looking for, and I kept it quite far forward, as you can see, actually on the bear. And yeah, it was a perfect double lung shot, which is exactly what I'm looking for. 28.5 is not a bad bear, but not a trophy bear by any means. So I just quickly sold him for the GM and moved on to the next one. So here we have another bear out on the ice. Again, this is another female, sadly, but I still think they're really cool. I think, like I said earlier, the fact that it's a female doesn't really bother me at this point. Just getting out and getting more experience hunting them and learning them a bit more was really fun. And actually being in a different environment is just so cool. I really, really hope that one day we do get a map a bit like White Rime on Call of the Wild. Of course, we do have Medved Tiger, but that's not really the same. I'd love to see a map that had like Arctic fox, moose, have the Sitka, and of course, I'd love to see the bears, but they I doubt will be included. Snow geese would be a really good addition, in my opinion. There could be a couple of other species. Snowshoe hare would be cool. I'd really like to see it. But you can see that I'm starting to get a bit more confident when I actually take this shot on this bear because I'm getting a bit more confident with where I actually want to place that shot because it's not as far back as I normally would put a shot. But yeah, I really really enjoyed taking this one down and just getting some more experience. You'll see here as I was actually trying to sneak in on where this bear called from that I did start walking with the bow out. I wanted to try and take one with the bow, and also having the bow out meant I had a bit of a quicker self-defense option if one did charge me again. Now, I know a lot of people probably won't enjoy the fact that these guys are really aggressive, but I really enjoy it when animals can be aggressive, like these polar bears or the Cape buffalo and Call of the Wild, just because it adds an extra dimension to hunting them. And she landed so beautifully with the sun coming through there. It just looks so pretty. And the detail on the polar bear models, I think, is really, really good. Some of the classic models aren't the best, but the polar bear ones I actually really like. I think they did a really, really good job of those. Now, I was glad I was able to actually get out onto the ice to recover this bear, because initially I didn't think I was going to be able to, but a little bit of weaving around allowed me to get out onto the ice floats to actually pick her up. Now, the next clip that I have included is a little bit of a longer one, but I thought I would include it just because I thought it was cool to show off for anyone that doesn't know about hunting polar bears in this game. So not only did I have one calling from back behind me there, sort of inland, but I spotted something moving around in the water, and under closer inspection, it was a polar bear that was actually swimming, and it was a male. And I just thought it would be kind of cool to include this because it's just interesting to see because it's something we don't see in Call of the Wild is animals actually interacting with the water. It's always cool to see the buffalo doing it on Pickabeen Bay, but I just didn't. I knew the bears could swim. I knew the polar bears could swim amongst the ice, but I'd never actually seen it for myself, and it wasn't the first thing I thought when I saw something white in the water. I thought it was just a small piece of ice. But you can see there he actually does swim around and actually comes right up onto where I was actually waiting for him. So that ended up working out really well, and it was just a really cool little encounter. Now, he actually took me by surprise there by getting that close, and I kind of misjudged the shot and again put it far too far back. And I thought, okay, I'm going to have to track him. So I was going to try and just get a second shot into him, hoping that I could at least try and get through to the intestines. And I was just hoping that that would help bring him down just a bit quicker, because I didn't know how far he was going to run based off that hit that I'd actually got into him there while he was really, really close. And he didn't seem to be that badly wounded. The blood did not look like I had hit anything at all decent. It didn't even look like it would maybe even bring him down. I didn't know if bears would go down with just a body shot. And I wasn't sure if I actually had got through to intestines or basically anything that would bring him down. So that second shot was basically my like trying to bring him down a bit quicker. But I decided to rather than like crop out the distance between me actually taking the shot and then him coming down because he went down a lot quicker than I expected him to. And I think it was just the combination of actually getting two shots into him fairly quickly that managed to bring him down. But you can see that neither of those shots are particularly good. The first one was intestine and stomach, and the second one was just body. But 28.8 was the biggest one I'd had, and it's a decent bit of GM, but again, not exactly the big trophy bear that I was hoping for. And then, yet again, another female. And I decided with this female that rather than just shooting her, I was actually going to try and sneak in and take her with the bow, like I wanted to do before, because I really like this bow, and of course it is in the winter camo, so it just fits with this map and with the camo that I was wearing. So this is going to be, again, a little bit of a longer clip, a little bit of a slower clip of me just stalking in to take the shot. But I thought that I would start to include some more of these and see what you guys think about actually showing me sneaking in on animals to take the shot rather than just taking the shot. So please be sure to let me know if that's something you guys are actually interested to see, is how I do it, or whether you would rather just watch the animal be shot and then claimed. Now, I could not have been more happy that I actually made a drop shot with the bow on this bear. I was just so happy because I really do enjoy using bows in both this and Call of the Wild. It's just something that sometimes when I'm trying to be quick or trying to hunt around and get stuff down as quickly as possible, that sometimes I neglect. But actually shooting stuff with a bow is really, really satisfying. And again, just another small female, but it's practice for if maybe I get a big male actually inland, maybe I'll actually be able to stalk it and take it with a bow. But here you can see getting another call from yet another polar bear up here on the ice. So I managed to sneak into this one and drop yet another bear. So I managed to get quite a nice looking trophy shot of this female, which I thought would make for a really nice thumbnail for the video. Again, not a massive bear, but it doesn't really make too much difference for just getting a decent picture like that. This next clip, I was again tracking a bear that I'd spooked and ended up seeing another pair and then shooting that one before I got around to actually finding the bear that I was tracking, which was really nice. It was really, really encouraging to see so many in a small area. I was expecting them to be a little bit more elusive and a little bit more hard to find. Maybe that's come from spending a lot of time hunting the new pumas and having them be so elusive. But these guys really weren't hard to find at all, and yeah, it just made it a lot more enjoyable that there was very little time between actually getting the bears, so it just meant that there was more action, and I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. And also something I wanted to note is how much better White Rhyme runs and looks now that my PC is actually running off the correct graphics card when it's playing Classic, which it just has made such a difference, and I think it looks a lot better, and hopefully that comes through on the videos as well, and the quality should hopefully have been improved for you guys that are actually kind enough to sit here and watch it. So again, big thank you to everyone that does sit through my videos and supports the channel. I do really, really, really appreciate it, and I can never be thankful enough or grateful enough when you guys are here giving me support and leaving nice comments and everything that you guys do. It's really, really, really appreciated. But yeah, you can see that that bear then called out again, and it was just like, okay, which bear do I go for? And then this one ended up running out almost right in front of me, and I wanted to spot it and make sure it was either the one that I was getting the calls from or the one I was tracking, and it did actually then end up I think that was the initial one that I was tracking, and then the one that I got the call from was just over the hill, and the shot actually spooked that one. They were just so close together. It was pretty awesome. But I actually got a pretty decent first shot into that bear. But whenever I see an animal running, I always do try and get a second shot in just as an insurance shot. Now, I only just got time to hit record for this, as I did get charged by another bear, but I managed to get a shot in her there with the bow. I have no idea if that was any kind of decent, I didn't think it was, and yeah, the blood wasn't great, but she didn't go very far before she actually died. I didn't get a chance to put a shot with the rifle into her before she actually stopped in a place where I could see her, and then when I actually could see her, I watched her like flop over. But you can see even here there's more polar bear tracks as well I was picking up that weren't hers. So there was yet another bear, but you can see that arrow actually went through the skull, through the lung, and then back into it even a bit further. So it was a half decent shot, not the shot I would potentially like to make on an animal that's charging. I like to make brain shots, but a decent shot nonetheless. And the bear that I tracked from beside her was actually a male, and I was really, really pleased to see that. But just down, like, to the right, there was some ice, and I looked down there, and there was another male bear. So I thought, right, I'll shoot the one that hasn't spooked, which was this one here that you can see on screen now, and then I'll go and track the other male bear, and then we'll call it a hunt. And actually, this one just was so perfect again, just gave me a perfect shot after walking quite close to me, so it didn't take long to get him on the ground. Now, I was tracking the second male from that clip, actually the first one you saw in that video clip, but the one I was talking about that fleed really slowly, and then he ended up charging me, and just as I shot, he turned, so it wasn't a great shot, and I was going to try and get a fleeing shot into him with the 9.3, but I didn't actually manage to line that up in time, and then clicking all the wrong keys, because again, I'm not used to playing on mouse and keyboard, I am used to playing on controller for everything, and I thought I'd try and get a shot into him with the 9.3 as he was running amongst these trees and things. But what I thought happened here is I thought he actually stopped and then fell over. I thought he'd actually expired. But I was incorrect. He'd sort of just gone into roaming. Just there, I thought he'd expired. I thought he was just lying down to bleed out, which is something that if you watch the animals, they will do. So I was wrong. I ended up spooking him again. And ended up tracking him and then actually managing to put him down. But as I was tracking him here, there was another bear just chilling there by the water, and I was trying to work out if that was him, and then I spotted it, and no, that was a female, And so I knew that he couldn't be far away because the female was there, so he can't have run past her. But this bear was so flighty from the get go, from the minute I started tracking it, and it made me think perhaps he was a bit of a bigger bear. And I was quite interested to see what this guy would score. But you can see I'm really slowly sneaking here, trying not to be spotted by the female, because the last thing I wanted was the female to come and charge me, and then me spook him by spooking her. But then I saw something move in between those trees there, and I saw that it was another bear, so I assumed that must be him. But I couldn't see the arrow because it was obviously the wrong side. But when I spotted it and it was a male, I just guessed that that must have been him because of the way that the tracks were going. And so I lined up on him and managed to put him down with the 9.3. But yeah, I didn't even manage to get a shot at that female. I did line up to try and see if I could, but I couldn't actually move fully around to actually get in the right direction to where she was fleeing. But I managed to get the male down, which was the really important thing. So this is going to be the end of the video just after we pick him up. So I want to say again, thank you very, very much for watching, and thank you everyone who's supporting my channel. I'm really, really surprised at how much it's growing, and I really can't believe it that everyone is being so kind and lovely, and thank you. I really appreciate it. As always, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them. I'm always happy to try and help or to answer and chat with you guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you, and I'll see you again soon.